It's episode 7. We're talking about Bethenny and Dorinda take over Puerto Rico, LuAnn's cabaret show, and the demise of Carole and Bethenny. It all starts right now.
You're tuning into the destination for TV superfan discussion, AfterBuzz TV. And now, let the buzz begin.
Accelerate, come on back, pick up your speed. Stamina, fill me up, that's what I need.
Another shot.
Christina Aguilera
I love her.
coming back.
Christina's back, guys.
She's making a comeback.
Yes. And it's like,
Oh. It's like a titty shake song.
yeah, it's a nice,
Shaking
like,
the titties.
I'm ready to go to the
Shaking 'em.
club. I haven't been to the club in a while, but I'm there, guys.
You're gonna have to teach me how to do that again. I don't know
don't
how.
even know.
My body
It just
doesn't
comes
Shimmy.
to
It
me.
doesn't allow. It's not.
You have to get
Break
that
out
body
of
to
it.
loosen up, Ronnie. It's
I mean-
Thursday night.
I just don't. I'll work on my shimmy.
Yes.
It's Thursday night. Welcome to AfterBuzz's Real Housewives of New York City After Show. I'm Lian, Hollywood Lian, and I have my full panel here.
Hey.
My gang.
Took a week off.
We're all back, and we apologize about the delay, but we're here as a family. Guys,
Hi, Lian. Hello. Okay, yeah, that shimmy was something else. I'm Ronnie Jr. Okay.
Hey guys, Chelsea Cirque Jones. Excited to get into this week.
Yes.
So much to catch up on.
yes, we've been gone, but we're back, and we're back with a bang. There's a lot to cover. This episode started a little emotional. So I don't know about you guys, but I was definitely crying for the first 8 minutes of this episode. Bethenny and Dorinda, they take over Puerto Rico. 68 days after the hurricane, and that's what it looked like. It just really struck a chord with me. She was giving out cash cards, $125,000 worth.
In total,
Yeah.
yeah.
Wow,
It was
yeah.
very heartwarming. And I think it was also very nice to see these reality TV personalities in a totally different light. Like,
Absolutely.
not in that traditional or, stereotypical, like, yelling, fighting, whatever, high maintenance.
Exactly.
But, like, to actually see them doing something that was good and it did, I was crying too.
I think I really liked the fact that it did affect Dorinda in a certain way, and I think it would have affected her in a certain way regardless. But after what she went through,
Yeah.
sort of being exposed on, I haven't dealt with, my late husband, stuff like that. I think was like a prominent time for her to really dig into the experience. She said the comment, "I could never, I could never, I could never." She was kind of letting us all know that, like, we'll say I could never, but in reality we can, and we do have these options.
We can and we will.
Yeah, so that was really good to see her. The other, like, strange thing or confusing thing was the fact that Bethenny had made some type of an announcement saying that no other funds were really getting to the island at this moment.
Yeah, well, she was
So-
just saying that basically the money that's being advertised that's going to Puerto Rico isn't really getting to Puerto Rico. That's been happening a lot lately. It's a bad situation that's been happening, unfortunately, with a lot of the disasters and bad things that's been happening all over the world lately. It's even happening with the Route 91 massacre and a lot of other shootings, the Parkland shooting. A lot of people put up these GoFundMe pages that are not legit, that are not really going. It's called like victim fraud, and so we just had to really make sure, and that's why she was really, really careful with the cash cards. She was giving them out herself. She wanted to see where the money was going, and she handed it to people that really, really needed it. We're going to be talking about a lot tonight. The news and gossip section tonight is going to be lit. So we're going to be talking about LuAnn's cabaret show.
Aww.
I have photos. We're going to be shouting out some tweets tonight in our Twitter sphere segment. And we're also going to be talking about Bethenny and Carole. It's going to get really, really good tonight. So make sure to give us a thumbs up. And if you're listening to us on iTunes, thank you so much. Download us every Thursday night. It was really beautiful to see the people of Puerto Rico so resilient. And like Dorinda said, to just wake up every day with a positive attitude, regardless of what's happening around them, is an amazing thing. And say what you want about Bethenny. God bless her. Like,
Yeah.
this entire...
It was really nice. It was really refreshing, and it was just to Dorinda's point of, like, never saying, like, I can never, or it's just like, you wake up in the morning, God, I'm so hungry, or like I'm starving, or whatever. Like, I remember when I was younger, my mom would always tell me, like, you're not hungry. There's other people in the world that are actually hungry. And I think seeing these women that come from so much, and granted they did work hard for what they have, but to see, like, my life's not that bad. Like, we're fighting over, you know,
Well,
what?
the
Like,
funniest thing is these women's lives aren't not that bad.
Yeah,
These
they're
women's
not
lives
bad at all.
are above average, you
Yeah.
know, glorified.
So above.
So it is like one of those things. Like, yes, we're having this moment, but in the reality is like we already have these moments. Like, we do
Yeah.
know what the world is like. So we do need to dip down when we get a little like full of ourselves. One of the things I thought was interesting about Bethenny being there, and I think we talked about this before a bit, is like, I felt like everything through Jason and everything through just being a mother and everything through her success and sort of like what that feels like where do you ever hit a cap? And I wonder if like Bethenny, unrelated to her charitable affairs, like there was like a fulfillment that she was missing, because this is just what I think. And I think that doing what she did was very fulfilling for her, because I think sometimes we think life is so one-dimensional, and it's like, oh, if I just get this successfully and I'm going to open now a new business and a new business and a new business. It's like that stuff will just that thing is like an orgasm. You're going to just want another one as soon as it's over. And so I was really proud of Bethenny in this episode, because I think that this was maybe a change in her character, or just something we'd like to see, because we don't always need to see the mic drop moment where she goes, well, I'm more successful than you. So that's why I agree with a lot of the tears or whatever that you were saying earlier.
Exactly. Like, in this light, she is amazing. We'll talk about her other sides later, because she does have a full spectrum of sides. One thing that we mentioned really, really quickly in the episode, Bryn is 7 years old, just like one of the little girls in Puerto Rico. I didn't really feel comfortable Googling about Bethenny's family, especially Bryn, who's 7. So if anybody knows any updates, put them in the chat. We'd love to know. But let's move on, because there was little glimpses throughout the Puerto Rico to keep it a little bit light of what was happening with LuAnn. She has a new gay in her life. His name is Ben. She sang happy birthday to him on camera, which was beautiful.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh wait, whoa.
Comfortable.
Oh my god! Not 1 ounce of uncomfortable
it made
did
me
I get.
super
You
cringy.
guys wanted to be in that position. I was just like,
Well, the thing about it is
are they
that
gonna
he
make
was
out right
well, they
now?
did kiss, because they were so close. You might as well kiss. So they did kiss.
Yeah, it was that. I admire. Look at the chill that you just gave me by actually physically touching me. Do it again.
Like all like looking at happy birthday.
Nervous, right?
You know, I like the little
I got it by
vibrato in it. There was some nice moments in her voice. It wasn't like perfect, but I like that she kept it simple.
Well, and at the same time, he did say, like, indirectly about 6 different times, oh, well, you're not like the greatest, or you've had failure.
He failed a lot. Yeah, he said so many times.
Well,
how
he
much
said
he's
it's not
failed.
about the voice, but in this case, the voice isn't actually that bad, so it's fine.
We
It
know.
was like backhanded compliments.
But it was good,
you know?
and I feel like we could do that. I don't know, correct me if I'm wrong, guys, but I feel like we could do that when we're really cool with somebody. And I think,
yeah, totally.
And I think the only reason it goes awry is like if you try to have those conversations with like a Ramona type and you're not tight with Ramona, she'll spaz. But because
Exactly.
he was confident, she was confident.
Everything just rolls off LuAnn's back.
Well,
She
LuAnn just has this
doesn't-
power gaze around her. I think
Yeah.
she's used to it. You know what I
Yeah.
mean? I think Erica Jane brings this up a lot in Beverly Hills. She's like, you know what? I can't with these girls because I'm so used to being around queens. And they're like, bitch, I'm coming over. Oh, bitch, you going in there? All right, bitch, we'll come on over. Yeah. So I feel like LuAnn always has gaze around her. So she just lets stuff rolls off her
She
back.
does. She nothing he said fazed her. I would have been a little bit offended. Like, why do you have to keep bringing up my failures? Like, I get it, but like, she was, yeah.
No, she was in on it.
better
She's
for it. Like,
yeah.
blah, blah, blah.
That's
So
why
it's-
I'm gonna be good in this. But even even the nonchalant, like he said within 1 second, can you? It was like he didn't even say like, can you sing?
He put her on the spot.
Yeah.
But I don't even think he finished saying the word, and she before she started singing, she like turned her body, she dipped in, like it was just like when I say, and I know you like LuAnn a lot, it's like she was a freaking movie right there. It was the greatest thing.
She has a lot of confidence, which is fantastic. You always need a little gay in your life to bring out the confidence in you and bring out the power.
True, but I think that was just her though. That was
her.
definitely
Oh, no, totally.
that was some countess. You
I
know?
feel like she's had some newfound inspiration, and maybe it had to do a little bit with Ben. Maybe it had to do a little with Liza, giving her a little inspiration.
Okay, get
She
that.
was like, I sang on Broadway once. I don't remember this. Maybe it was like you were on the street Broadway.
And I was wondering if it was like really Liza or was it like a drag Liza, like
exactly.
Liza Minnello.
She,
you know?
she has all these gays around her. But we're going to be getting into the cabaret show in detail. When
I
I bring
can't
up
wait.
Cannot
we will
wait.
talk about it in our news and gossip section. I have some photos for us, and I'll talk about everything. The guests, who she brought on stage, who was there in the audience, who I was sitting next to, all of it. So you might want to stay tuned. We will talk about it. But let's get into the heart of the episode. You know, this table, this dinner that was just really funny to me because there was a lot of situations happening. But one of my favorite things right off the bat is that Bethenny just came in, sat down, and was like, so what's going on with Scott? Oh, yeah, so you guys are fully back on together? That's great. I'm over here being sportive. Sonja walks in, sits down. She's at the end of the table, and it just changes. Everything just changes. Bethenny does not like what she sees. And she's like, wait a second, I don't like what's going on. And then everything goes to hell. And while they're all fighting, there's a newfound alliance between LuAnn and Ramona for like 10 seconds, which was probably my favorite episode of the entire thing. So let's get into it. What do we think about this dinner from... It was just chaotic.
It was awkward, yeah.
It was just weird. Like, because, like... I think LuAnn even said, or someone said, this didn't even go anywhere. It was just yelling for no reason. We got nowhere with it. And I just don't understand why Tinsley just escalates to like she's yelling, but I don't know what she's saying. Like, I don't know her point. And it was getting really frustrated. I was like, why are you so mad right now?
Right, and and this is being
she
very...
screeches, she's picking on me!
Yeah, and I was just like, why is she... Like, I'm just like, well, calm down. You're not 12. You're a grown woman. Like, get it together.
Well, and that's what I'm saying. A lot of the viewers, some people that like her soft, charming ways, or they like her, but so many of us are like, oh my gosh, she just drops the ball. And a lot of us have been really cool the last couple episodes. We're like, all right, she's here to stay. You know, screw it. Let's get down with Tinsley. But when she does that, where it escalates and then looks off into some other land and starts, you know, mythologically yelling at like the universe, it's horrible.
Are you talking about Sonja?
No, I'm talking about Tinsley.
Oh, Tinsley.
Like, we've taken this much to kind of like sort of enjoy her and be like, okay, cool, Scott, Chicago, boom.
Yeah.
But then it's weird because they're all having a reason to talk, and I know you said like it's a excuse. Arguing for no reason, but like for sure she's yelling for no reason, and she doesn't even know what she's yelling at.
Exactly. Like, that's what was frustrating about it. I was like what? Because what Bethenny say? Like, you guys aren't even talking.
Well, I feel like she's arguing like a teenager.
Yeah, like just like
that's good,
pointless. Just like yelling, just like
And-
in a fit. Like,
And
a
Bethenny,
spoiled
you
she's
can't
been
hear
waiting
me.
to kind of pounce on Tinsley.
Yeah.
But in all fairness, she's just asking her, like, actually, she's just giving her facts. Like, it
Yeah.
is true. And, you know, when Tinsley doesn't want to really cough up to something, she's like, right.
Yeah.
You were socially at the bottom as well. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes, you
It's
were.
just- it's
Because she
just-
was like, well, I don't know if I agree with that. And then Carol's like, well, emotionally. You know, and then she's like, Carol, don't chime in because I'm ready to go after you, too.
Well, that was the real issue, was like
Yeah.
That
which we'll
was
get to, I'm sure.
But I love that she prefaced with, you know, I love you, but, and then went into the definition of a puppet without saying puppet.
Strings were being pulled, but I'm never gonna call you a puppet. No.
Well, just the vibe changes. And, you know, I'm glad that Bethenny went out and took a bullet, so to speak, for Sonja, because Bethenny went off on Sonja a couple seasons ago to the point where it completely annihilated Sonja.
Yeah.
Like, you can go off on Sonja and she'll be like going off on you and it won't even make sense. But when you hit her with such a fierceness, because Bethenny can just, she has like the
She
aim
knows
of a
the button.
sharpshooter.
She knows
Well,
what buttons to push.
And I also think it was a little bit tacky that
She's trying to make it up, is what I'm saying.
who is? Bethany?
Bethany, she's like, I want to stick up for Sonja. Like, I annihilated her. It's time for me to be like,
She does have a soft spot for her,
Yeah.
definitely.
And no one wants to see two other people ganging up on somebody, and it really was
And they
one of
were.
those things. And they were. So 'cause here's where I could defend Carole and Tinsley, is if they just sort of minded their own business, didn't talk to her,
Thank
whatever.
you.
But that's not what they did.
Thank
They
you.
let Sonja talk. They ignored her, put her in the corner, which
Exactly.
really wasn't a big deal.
the corner thing is not a big deal. There's only 6 seats.
And I also
Carol
thought it
was
was
right
funny.
about that.
But I also
Carol
thought-
was right about
But
that.
I also thought it was funny because I thought, this is how I would roll. It was a sticky thing. Let's make jokes at it. Let's make light out of it. But when those two girls started talking
Exactly.
about her personal life in front of her, I guess we weren't having it.
Exactly. No, I completely agree with Ronnie. Like, it's one thing to just let her come in and sit down and make the comment about you sitting at the end, be like, here we go again, whatever. But then you start talking about Frenchie and her man. Like,
Yeah.
you're talking
At a
shit
table
at the end of the
probably
table.
This big too. It's
Exactly.
Like, I could hear you.
And Carol was the one that said, oh, the end of the table is 2 feet away.
Yeah.
Well, then why are you talking
Yeah,
crap?
it's-
That's why I do not even feel bad that Bethenny went off on everybody, because that's what needed to happen.
And does it make you guys feel a little insecure too? Like, I feel like there needs to be, I know when you fall out with somebody, you let the gauntlet's up. Like, you just go for it. But like, to me, I felt a little insecurity in the sense that, like, if this was my friend and they came into my home, saw the way I dealt with men, whatever, and then they like were able to be so far against me, fine, like hate on me, fine. But don't go and sort of regurgitate the way you saw me live, because now that's uncomfortable.
I understand.
Yeah,
Yeah, but
that
here's the
makes
thing.
sense.
Here's the
Yeah.
thing. I understand that Sonja is crazy, and I do not condone the way she treated Tinsley last season. I'm
condone
just
what she
saying,
said
for
either.
this season, I'm glad that Bethenny is there, because the thing about Sonja is that she just doesn't make sense when she fights with everybody else. When she said to Bethenny at the table, she goes, "I brought her in, and now she's not even my friend anymore."
It makes total
That what
sense.
made perfect sense. Those two sentences. Everything else that she said didn't even make sense. The text about cleaning the bathroom or your room, I didn't even get a thank you text. It doesn't make sense. It goes back to the childish way you treated her last season. I can't stand the way Sonja treated Tinsley last season. It was super childish.
Yeah.
But we come full circle, guys, okay? Because Tinsley does do right at the end of the episode. We'll talk about, let's not get ahead of ourselves.
So
But
much.
for now, I'm just saying, I'm glad that Bethenny defended Sonja. Sometimes you need a little defending. You need a leg up.
I do think, though, going back to the whole Carole part of it, I didn't like her interjecting with the Tinsley Bethenny thing.
Because
Like,
the fight was between...
Yeah, I get you wanting to back your friend, but Bethenny wasn't being too hard on Tinsley at that moment. I don't think.
no, and
to
that's
where
what-
she needed saving.
And that's what Tinsley does. Tinsley doesn't take like constructive conversation. Tinsley plays like a little bit of a victim.
She does play a victim.
And here's where I want it, because there was a lot of things, and I will tell you, a lot of things in this episode where I was for Carole, by the way. But other things. But,
Sonja does talk shit, though, and it's not always true. So I can understand Tinsley's frustration.
I understand why
like,
Tinsley's
shut up.
upset.
Stop making lies
Don't-
about me.
Don't say that.
So
But, like,
Sonja needs to keep her mouth shut, too.
the whole thing about it, though, when you're talking about Carole and Tinsley arguing at the end of or talking about Sonja at the end of the table, like, just if you're gonna be childish,
They're all wrong.
Then then you
No
can't
one's
be
right
mad
here,
at her.
guys.
Well,
No one is right here. Let's just get that. Let's get that on the table. I'm swinging my arms. I'm gonna hit Ronnie.
and then he will get a hit back.
I've been doing it on purpose because you said you've been swinging your arms too much. So now I'm like,
Don't not take the constructive. Look, I'm gonna grab his chi-chi. I was just doing
How'd you
also,
like the chi-chi?
Very warm. Ooh. No, I was doing a constructive Bethenny. I was just giving you a little, hey, this is what's up.
no, but I do think that nobody's wrong in this situation. I mean, nobody's right in this situation. They're all wrong. The funny part about all of this is that they're all suddenly concerned with the volume of their voice. I mean, you guys scream so much
In,
for
like, the
10
nicest
seasons.
places too.
In foreign countries, you get kicked out of places, you throw glasses, and you flip tables. All of a sudden, y'all are concerned about the volume of your voice. Really?
Because we have etiquette now, I guess. I don't
Bethany
know.
last season was screaming, yelling, "Mention it all! Mention it all!" I love it.
And I do. I was noticing, this is sort of off topic. I'm noticing a new LuAnn thing that I'm starting to like, and it's okay. So her confessionals are one glorious part of LuAnn. So is when she's in a conversation. But reactionary LuAnn is also my new favorite
my
thing.
God.
So when she goes, "Oh, that is really sad," or when
a lot of anger here.
or when Ramona called her a man, she goes, "Oh God, it's so," it's like she, and she did it another time too when they were talking about dating. Oh, she goes, "Oh, maybe I should go out there and date." She goes, "Oh no, I'm just kidding. I don't want to do that." Like reactionary, like one or two line LuAnn is really
Yeah,
funny to
her
me, and it's
candidness.
sneaking up. Watch the rest of the
Yeah.
season because I've been seeing
Probably
a lot.
one of my favorite moments of the episode was when Ramona and LuAnn had this temporary alliance going, and they're just
talking
like,
this is bad.
"Oh yeah, we're like best friends." There's a lot of anger here, and it's really sad.
that was cute.
Ronnie, tell us about this new podcast.
Oh, here's the thing. Okay, first of all, did I tell you I've been listening to a lot more of this content that's so amazing that's on SiriusXM, right? So they're doing a 2-week free trial. I don't know if anyone has been really up on that.
I haven't.
Yeah.
So, of course, I've been listening to Amy Phillips a lot because that show is amazing.
Did she talk about the cabaret show?
Yes, of course she did.
Yeah.
From going to not having Sirius to having this 2-week free trial is the most amazing thing. I've listened to Amy Phillips and I've backlogged everything. I listened to Bevy Smith because I'm in love with Bevy Smith.
Revelations?
Oh my God, she is my soul partner. But the last thing is also my darling Michelle Collins, who is obsessed with New York as well. And the common thread that everyone at Sirius is saying is that New York is sort of like the winning franchise. So like it's funny because we talk about it. And I know a lot of us do other franchises, but like there is something about New York, like
the best.
the layers and all of it. Anyways, we do also got to shout out our AfterBuzz creator Maria Menounos, because she has a program on SiriusXM. It is called Conversations with Maria Menounos. So you are in for a treat for these 2 weeks to listen to like every Sirius show
Yes.
for the next 2 weeks. I feel like usually I'll pack my day and try to be busy. Guess what? I'm not busy anymore because I have got backlogged nonsense to listen to.
So much good stuff
and
on
it's so
there.
amazing. But if you do want to listen to a show that really like enhances your life and gets everything in order, from finances to just education to how to treat people, which a lot of these ladies definitely need to get in tune with. Conversations with Maria Menounos is not just on SiriusXM, but on Fridays we roll out a sort of like best of the content. It's free. Download it on iTunes. Make sure you comment, rate, subscribe, all that good stuff. And also let them know that the Housewives of New York after show sort of sent you there.
Yes.
And you'll get rewarded, even if it's just a shout out. Like we definitely try to take care of our people. But
Yes.
Fabulous podcast. Conversations with Maria Menounos on iTunes, the podcast, a free
Yeah, love
edition. Thank you very much.
Love,
Yeah,
love,
guys.
love.
And download our show on iTunes.
Do it.
They're just going to have a whole downloading extravaganza.
Right, make a gif of when I grabbed his chi-chi.
Please.
It accidentally happened. I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
Ramona
kinda liked it.
Ramona comes out in me, I think, when we
I think
talk.
that's more of a Sonia thing.
It is.
Yeah.
Did you see her on
So,
Watch
yeah.
What Happens Live?
No,
Oh,
I wanted
she
to.
she was given all of the good. She goes, what'd she say? She goes, touch the skin, and the skin is to win. Or I don't know. It was almost borderline like she made it up, but actually I think she's borderline so kooky that it was all off the top, which makes
She's
it
so
that much more
kooky.
glorious.
Sonia has been on one lately. I really feel like hopefully, she's trying to like showcase that she's slowing it down by saying I'm sober and well, she is
juicing.
sober and she's juicing and everything, but like behavior wise, she's still off the charts.
It's just who she is.
Do you
It's
guys?
just who
Yeah.
she is.
I'll say something that I said. I wrote it in my notes here. Do you guys agree? Kind of a bold statement, but I think she was the MVP, not MVP, most improved player on this episode. I felt like
Yeah.
she told Ramona exactly what needed to be said. She received the information. We'll get later from Tinsley. Sort of, kind of. I don't want to say dismissed it, but it was like, okay, let's just live in the fun.
just
I
move on.
really like the way Sonia handled herself.
She did a good job this
And sometimes when
episode.
she doesn't get too goofy, it allows her to be the Sonia that I love.
I don't know.
Which is like this dancing, like I like to flirt with,
I like her when she's drunk.
come on.
I like her when she's drunk and having fun and what are you doing here with that Dorinda?
I do too, but I think to Ronnie's point, now she's probably going to be more inclusive with the group, and we'll see more of that.
And the
now
Mexico
that
last season.
Mexico,
Oh,
Sonia
God. Everybody
is-
naked.
And the thing
that
is-
is my
So fun.
Regardless of her being drunk, I think that's her. Now, one of our listeners, and we'll do a shout out section a little bit later, talked about how what we think, or what they think rather, I think it was Charlie in Charge. I can't remember for sure. But they were saying what they felt like Sonia's issue wasn't necessarily the she never got over her husband or the drinking or the whatever. That the biggest thing that she's having problem with is sort of like aging older and not getting that attention she used to get. And we do see that when she picked up a little bit of weight and like things weren't really good, she wasn't the Sonia we love. She was looking so fly on Watch What Happens Live.
Yeah.
I really feel like because she was that young gal in the city, just moving and doing it, dipping and doing it, as Wendy says. I think getting older is a tougher thing. So
It is with
I feel
anybody.
like definitely you're right,
It is
but
with the
they
what?
all
With
have the
everybody.
same struggle. They're all getting older. So I just feel like at some point you got to take accountability
Stop
for your
giving
behavior.
her excuses,
Yeah,
Ronnie.
let's move on. Carole is showing
I
that she
had a
has a
rebuttal,
career.
but I'll let it go.
Carole is showing she has a career, and she's showing us that she has one by writing for Cosmopolitan magazine. Writing a page with deadlines, which isn't really good for Carole because we all know how she does with the deadlines. I feel like, this day and age, it's important to write about self-esteem. So I feel like Carole is doing good with that. And it just opens up the conversation for Bethenny and all the digs to come through. Bethenny is really just, she was doing so good at the beginning of the episode. You had us there. And then the digs start coming out about Bethenny because,
Carole and
yeah,
them.
because you clearly don't like Carole anymore. There clearly is a problem. So now the digs start coming out. You've never had a career. You're childless. I was at home going, Bethenny, stop.
It was
Ugh.
weird. It was
The child one was a hard one to
the
like.
child
Even
and the career.
It doesn't
one,
make
like, the
sense.
whole
Why are you
thing.
judging someone for not having a child? Like, it's weird.
And just bringing them down. Like, what did she do to you that was so bad that you had to like attack her personally in that respect? Like, I just don't understand.
well, it sounds like it had to do with the Adam thing, right?
Which
like,
again, it's also kind of strange. To
And
me.
we're gonna get into that. But
Oh, okay, sorry.
Bethenny is having some Indian food, recapping this whole thing with Dorinda, and saying that Sonja needs a leg up, and she reveals that she brought up this email thing with Adam, which we all saw Adam in a certain way after she explained it, which isn't really fair because some people just can't afford to not work. I get that.
I totally, yeah.
But Bethenny made it seem a certain way. So then we'll talk about this later, news and gossip. Carole fires back in the blog saying, how do you feel about, girlfriend calling my boyfriend behind my back?
Fires back is
Woo!
an understatement.
I'm telling you, it is good. News and gossip is going to be on fire.
Right, yes.
But let's talk about this. It rubbed her the wrong way that he said, what's the comp? I don't
find any issue with that whatsoever.
I don't find any, it's just a conversation. In
Yeah.
business, conversations like that exist.
Yeah.
Sometimes they say there's no compensation, and you go, okay, well, I really want to do this gig anyway.
Yeah, and I can make it happen.
Yeah, we're both going to
Or-
get something out of it.
Yeah.
And we're going to do something well. It's for a charity. It's not
Yeah.
even like a business thing.
I think it's just totally. It's wrong to judge someone based off of that. Like, especially, she knows him. Like, she knows who he is. She knows his character. I assume, like, she's friends with Carole. She knows who Adam is. So it's like, why would you just jump to he's a horrible person because he didn't want to go to Houston with me for free and take pictures?
And
like,
why not mention it to Carole? Like, hey,
Yeah.
but by the way, I want to...
Well, she said she
want-
did, and she said that. What did she say to Carole about Adam? That and it kind of rubbed Carole the wrong way. That Adam was a.
oh, he was like an opportunist.
Yeah.
It was a different word, but it was like.
Yeah.
And so, like, it was just,
Well,
the whole thing was just.
And
wrong.
that was really interesting to me because remember, I think it was Ramona that Bethenny was arguing with, and Bethenny, I think it was the episode you're talking about, and she at that said, "Oh yeah, it all comes out now." It might have been to Dorinda. Regardless, it was funny because getting everyone mixed up. Sorry, Bethenny had just in previous seasons said, "Oh, it all comes out," and in some weird way, that's what was happening with Carole. It was like all of her disdain for Carole was like growing. Okay, was your disdain the Adam choosing to at least inquire about money, or was your disdain that you think your good girlfriend is with the opportunist? It really felt exact. See, it's funny because and we love Bethenny, we do, but it was like she could dish it and say, "Oh, it all comes out." Well, sometimes that is what happens when you haven't really got the resolved issues. It all does come out.
Yeah.
But like on the same token, it felt like everything that she didn't like about Carole the last 3 years just suddenly like flopped up there. Is what it felt like to a viewer.
I feel like they all just can be so good and then just turn around and be so bad at the same time.
Just like just for the smallest minute
For the smallest thing, Bethenny can be so petty too. I don't know what the problem is with Carole exactly. If it has to do with Adam, then
But
I don't-
why? Like, that's what I think. I think to Ronnie's point, like, maybe it is something that's, like, bottled up and she is, like, kind
there
of
is
feeling
something
like
there.
there's, like, some type of disconnect with them or whatever. But it's just, like, I would never get, like, one of my good friends, her boyfriend's a photographer, and I would love if he could take pictures of me or whatever. I know that I'm gonna have to pay him. He's not gonna do it for free. Like, you just like. Even
but it's a
those
conversation.
yeah.
He might do it for free.
Exactly, but like you don't go into something like that and think like you're a horrible person because you're not gonna go on this trip. Like take time out of your day.
The
to, like,
digs, the childless digs, the no career, the puppet, the saying that she's on her own page and not on the charitable page. That's a bad dig too. You don't even know that Carole was out there like being a journalist and going out there to cover the hurricanes and stuff.
The
like
same thing with why she chose Dorinda. What did she say? Like, you know, she's easy. She not too much makeup, not so high maintenance and stuff like that. But it's like Carole, that was her life. Like she was going out there and like working in those conditions. So it's like what? Like why be so nasty about it?
So do we think Bethenny's for sure at fault in this situation?
I'm Team Carole.
I'm a little interested to see what the chat will say because
everyone has a lot of opinions, but here's the thing about it is that none of them are right. They're all bad and wrong at the same time. Like even when they do something right, they turn around and do something totally wrong 5 minutes later. So I can't really like choose a team. I'm just here to break it down for y'all.
It's true. I say this about this franchise all the time. You watch any other one of these franchises, you will find your favorite and then you'll find your like least favorite.
Exactly.
This is the only time you're like, oh, Sonja was so in the wrong, but then you also are riding with
I
her.
never really side with anybody except for LuAnn. Everyone knows this. If
But
you've
on this series,
watched-
right? Yeah.
Yeah, if you really know me and you really watch me, you know that I cover for certain people. It's mostly for LuAnn though, because I root for her. But I'm not rooting for Bethenny.
I'm Team Carole.
And
I love Bethenny.
Carol's
I did think Carole had a great
Bethenny's
episode.
wrong in this.
I
in
don't
this
think Carole is
situation.
totally wrong, but she's kind of bothering me I don't know what it is, but I can't put my finger on it.
Well, and I think Bethenny.
Maybe she becomes fast friends really fast. She became fast friends with Bethenny. Maybe that's why they came around to bite her in the butt later. Now she's being fast friends with Tinsley.
And if
she
we're-
does jump in really
She does,
fast.
But she said she's ride or die, and so it's like I just don't understand. I don't.
And
get
if
it.
we're being fair in all of the previews and
I love
all
the ride or die thing.
Mm-hmm.
Sorry.
in all the previews and all like the social media chatter, we do know that Bethenny's going to hit a wall. And so I think that I don't want to say that's a good thing because obviously that's a challenging thing, but I think there is going to be a part where because Bethenny's natural reaction is just to tell everyone why she's right. And so I think if she's going to hit a wall, that's telling me that there's going to be this turning moment where she's like, will kind of back up and maybe acknowledge some of the mistakes she made with Carole. That's what I would
Exactly.
like to see.
Yeah.
The thing about it is like Bethenny did so good for Puerto Rico, and I want to acknowledge all of that. She was one of the first people to go. The people
So
from
good.
Puerto Rico said it themselves. You are like the only person that's came.
that's
That stands
really
for something. We
heartbreaking.
need to acknowledge that. So with all the pettiness aside and the puppet crap and all that stupid, they all get drunk and say dumb crap all the time. Let's just give Bethenny a little acknowledgement for the Puerto Rico thing, and then that's it. This whole Carole thing, I don't really get. I think Carole is the one that is not really in the wrong here because Bethenny can be very pit bullish, and when she goes after you, she just wants to cut. And I don't like all the digs she made towards the end, the childless thing, the puppet thing.
Yeah.
Even when Carole came up to her and was like, "Did you call me a puppet?"
Oh, at the
She
party,
looked
right?
like she was in trouble, and she was like, "No, I
wouldn't
called
use-
you
I
the
wouldn't-
definition of a puppet, but I
use
didn't
that
actually.
word.
I never said the
I
word.
never use that word.
And another weird. That I know. It was weird because her face read. Well, I said a lot, but I didn't say that.
I said the definition of a puppet.
My hands are dirty. But was also really weird. And I think this is kind of going on our little problem with Bethenny is like, so all of a sudden Carole addresses you with something. This is at Duffy's party, and we'll talk about that in a second because that was very good cause. But it's like she didn't really go at it with Carole or even just explain. She like immediately went to Ramona, where that is a person she can just rip and rip and rip. So
Yeah.
I think this hit the wall thing is gonna happen because Bethenny's not.
I mean, Ramona definitely did try to stir the pot there.
But even so, people talk.
Yeah, they do talk, but she definitely put words.
Ramona
yeah.
always loves to stir the pot.
But when Carole confronted Bethenny about it, I thought for sure she read like,
Bethenny's so big and bad. Why didn't she just break it down right there? Like, you know what? I didn't call you a puppet.
To Carole? That's
she
what I'm
waited
saying.
until her confessional.
She's
to
not
say,
that big and
I called
bad."
you everything except for the world.
Exactly. Why
Like,
didn't you say that to her
then,
face?
yeah,
Like,
no.
I actually said the entire definition of puppet without saying the word
Yeah,
puppet.
and she looked like she was kind of about to.
She looked like she was scared. Because Carole kind of was like, "Did you say that? Like,
See,
what's
that's
up
what
with
I like
that?"
about Carole. She's very assertive and she's very like to the point. Like I feel like a lot of these women, like Tinsley in particular, like they'll run around their issue, like and with Sonja, like you said this or whatever. But like Carol's like, I heard you said this. Is this true? And she'll move on
Okay,
from there.
the only defense I'm going to give to Bethenny is people do this a lot. Anytime you're like in the middle of a sentence and you come with like a staggering question, it's going to let the other person always be off guard. So even if Bethenny wasn't in the wrong or whatever, like the way Carole did it was like sort of mid-sentence and then went for the jugular with the question. And I don't, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I feel like that's sort of, let's not give Carole too much credit for like intimidating her because that's a tactic that people do. Like I've seen it for years.
I didn't feel like she intimidated her.
But I feel like
It was
Carole
a
didn't.
it was a mid-sentence hard question, and I've seen people do that, and it's. I just don't know if I want to give Carole too much credit for
If
like.
she did that to like a Tinsley or a Sonja, I would. But that's Bethany.
Yeah,
like,
Bethany.
she's someone that's a little.
And
bit
you know what?
more-
Bethany gave her the answer without really not giving her the answer.
Yeah.
Bethany, and then Carole heard what she wanted to hear. Because even in the answer, Bethany's kind of saying yes.
Yeah, and
I would have
Carole-
been like, so you said that I'm a puppet without really saying I'm a
Yeah,
puppet.
Carole was like, okay, so you didn't. So,
So let's talk about it. Because she said to Ramona, maybe that's how you feel.
I thought they were going to keep going, actually, yeah.
Yeah.
Well, because she was so quick to say to Ramona, maybe that's how you feel. Why didn't you say that to Bethany?
And that goes to the whole ride or die
So,
thing about
yeah.
Carole. She's like, you're projecting. Like, I know.
I don't know. I know you guys are all about Carole, but I feel like I don't know. There was just something off about it. Duff wrote a book.
Don't you dare! That was a good story.
Duff wrote a book. It's a New York City party. So the girls are going. Ramona's in there, and
It's about what is it? Sarcoidosis? I never know how to say that. Sarcoidosis.
The word was pattern, not puppet.
Yo, you're going back to that?
Well, no, I was just saying, like, that was the word. If we're gonna talk about the word, it was
I don't know.
puppet.
I just really liked Duffy on her MTV day, so I liked having this book out there, and I just didn't want to leave it. I'm sorry.
I wasn't even like totally about the book and all that. I'm just like,
Yeah, but she's going through.
cute.
It's a big thing. She's going through chronic illness, and she's like pursuing and
I know, but
pushing
I
through,
was
rather.
totally focus. Sometimes you watch the episode a couple times. The first time, obviously, that's what I was listening to. But then when I watched it the second and third time, I was focused on the lemon drop martini thing dropped over there.
The first time, that's
I
all
was like,
focused
oh
on,
my
the
God.
vodka
I mean, that's
fountain.
fair, but how could you? That's fair, but how could you be so passionate and cry over the Puerto Rico thing, which is a beautiful thing to cry over, and then I tell you this is a big deal, and you're like, I don't really care about it.
No, well, mention. Are you talking
Chronic
about
illness.
I honestly, I didn't even
Duffy's book is about the chronic illness that she has, and the illness she has is that sarcoidosis. I don't know if I'm saying that correctly.
I honestly was not even paying attention
I
to that
didn't know
part.
that.
Maybe it's because I watched
Yeah.
7 interviews about Duffy today, because of
Okay.
course.
I was gonna say, I'm really not that insensitive. So break it down so I could feel bad,
Oh
please.
yeah. It's a huge chronic.
Because I wasn't even paying attention to that part.
So
honestly,
her book
did
is
you?
like a memoir? No,
Yeah,
I
so the
didn't
book
know.
is called Backbone, but it's all about how to deal with when you get that specific disease or other diseases where you are living your entire life with a chronic illness and how painful that is and how it doesn't restrict you. It was a really good message. That's
Did
all
they
I'm saying.
bring it into?
No, they didn't, and that was
Okay, because I was like, I didn't get anything from that.
All I
But-
saw was the vodka fountain.
Oh, okay. Well, then that makes sense. I saw a tip of it, so then I had to go in and find out, and we
Yeah.
saw that she was bandaged, so it led me to kind of wonder.
And then Bethenny's comments about the party and the book and it took away from the real cause of the book,
Yeah.
obviously. So
Well,
I
they
don't
definitely
know.
did that.
I feel like it wasn't a really good situation. Nothing really came about. There was no really resolution except towards the end when Tinsley and Sonja talked, and somehow
It just got moved along, and that's
yeah,
good. I'm happy.
that's fine. I mean, Sonja was ridiculous with Tinsley, and Tinsley is so over it. I feel like she really does want to move forward. So if they both want to move forward, let them move forward, even if Sonja was a complete ass to her.
Tinsley was ridiculous with her writing the check, whatever, storming out.
You know what's
both her
happening?
legs. it just got.
They
to a
were
really
one-upping
petty
each
place.
other.
Yeah,
That's
they
all
were
it
both
was.
being children.
Yeah.
Sonja wasn't in the wrong to say, hey, this is what it felt like. It felt
Yeah.
like I took you in,
Yeah.
paid for everything, then you found a guy, and then you ditched me.
Yeah.
That's not wrong, but she was doing it in
She
the...
was going to Dorinda. She was.
Yeah,
she was going.
she
behind
was
her
doing it
back.
because she was
Yeah.
hurt. It was like, you hurt me, I hurt you, and they kept going round and round.
Yeah.
So I'm glad it's over because that was nonsense, and I'm
It was-
done with it.
yeah, it was really-
Exactly. Let's get into some news and gossip.
AfterBuzz TV News.
LuAnn had a cabaret show, and it is going all over the country. It started out in New York at 54 Below, and it's coming back to New York because she's had such good reviews. She's had such amazing artists come into the show. She had Sonja flash everybody, so the tickets went viral. Yeah, she was here in Los Angeles. I went with former AfterBuzzer alum Grant Rants. We have some photos. She did 4 costume changes.
Ooh.
She had the People's Couch. She had Jenny from Flipping Out.
I love Jenny.
Yes, there was a lot of other podcasters there. But whatever. AfterBuzz was there. That's the most important part. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah, everyone that's really into podcasts and all about Real Housewives was there. It was fantastic. So let's see those photos. She did a red dress. That's the red dress.
Mm-hmm.
She, I don't know why she felt the change so many times. I would have just been happy with the
Was
white
it a
dress.
seamless change, or was she off
Okay,
the
so she
stage
started
for a
off with this
while?
white dress that you see right here,
very
and
pretty.
she came out and she started talking to the audience, and she did "Love" the song,
Okay.
and it was really, really nice. This is her billboard. It was kind of
Tacky.
it's one of those virtual billboards
It looks.
that you type it in in the
Cheap.
computer in
Yeah,
the
it's
back,
very
and then it starts
cheap.
to play on the marquee.
Where were you? Where is this?
This was in Hollywood, and the entrance to the theater was through a parking garage in very LuAnn fashion. I feel like she could have sang a little bit more. She only sang 3 songs,
Oh, how long was the performance?
about 2 hours.
Oh,
But she only sang 3 songs. The rest was just talking.
About what?
Which is okay, though, I think.
What
It was
she
fine if
talking
it was
about?
just LuAnn talking, but she had like the people's couch up there for like a half hour, and they were completely boring. Sorry, guys. You guys are really cute, but nope. Don't give 3 gay boys a drag. Don't give 3 gay boys a microphone. Because it's just like drag queens fighting up there for attention. It was just bad.
It was too much.
Cheyenne Jackson was there. He sang. There was lots of celebrities.
Who?
Oh my God.
Other than the Real Housewives of New York City podcaster people, the Bravo celebrities.
Love it.
The
I'm
Flipping
so-
Out cast.
Lian was there. That's your celebrity.
Yeah, hello. There was also some people from New York there that I don't really know their names, but you can tell that they're just in the showbiz world. So let's talk about Carole's blog.
Okay, well, let's talk about Carole's blog. So Carole came out of blog retirement
Yeah,
recently, and
exactly.
she felt like she needed to defend herself and her man. I don't know what Adam is, but she went on her Bravo blog and she said, "I'm glad to see my friend Bethenny step outside of her affluent bubble with her stream of rich boyfriends, rich friends, with private planes, $1 million homes, and 5-star resort vacations." She went on to say that what she considers her and Dorinda's lunch is Bethenny being verbally waterboarding people. So she feels like she does this often. It's when you cannot interpret the talk pattern that she leaves, and she leaves victims hopeless, nodding in agreement. Sonja does this too, which is why these two seem to be attached at the hip lately, she says. And then she just goes on to say, I don't understand how Bethenny could be someone that uplifts women and says, we're in such an empowering time with females and women and stuff like that. But she's, making fun of Ramona, saying that she's not successful, saying that Carole doesn't have a career, and just taking jabs at all these women around her. So she doesn't understand Bethenny's.
And she brought
Where
it.
she's
She threw
coming
some
from.
shade at Bethenny by saying, the only reason that she's done good is because of reality TV.
Oh, yes.
She was
Gets
on The
into The
Apprentice and
Apprentice,
everything,
yes.
and
She also said Bethany's one true friend
the
is the
television.
reality.
Yeah.
And I think Carole did a great job in that article, but I do think at some point you said too much.
She
she did it to a point where she started to look not even just petty, but she looked.
You could tell she's hurt.
they're
Yeah,
both.
okay,
Yeah.
that's fair.
A lot of it comes from her. You could
Yeah.
tell that she's hurt, and you could tell because a lot of the time she said, "I am a good friend. I will be there. I was there for her. I wore the skinny girl hard hat in Mexico.
Right.
Very proud. I'm there for every opening. I'm there for every event. I wrote checks. Even if I'm not promoting it, I'm doing it for her friend Duffy's doing this thing." She's like, "I am very proud of my friends, and I'm there."
So your take
And
is if it could
so-
work, Carole would want it to work with
Yeah,
Bethany.
she would
Okay,
want
that's
it to
fair.
work, and I think
like
she's
that.
just very hurt by the things that Bethenny is saying and doing.
Let's get into some shout outs.
Our fans are fantastic on the show. So Style Collective was talking about in reference to Dorinda's outburst that a drunk mind speaks a sober heart. So that's of course important. Stefania Ponitz says she thinks that Sonja has never worked through her divorce and that she loved that man, yes, but also suspects that she loved the status that came with it as well.
Oh, for
That's
sure.
the big thing. Charlie in Charge says, why didn't Dorinda believe that Haitians were college bound? Fishy, which actually is kind of fishy. Ida-
Dorinda was drunk and she didn't.
no, not at that. Not at that. Was that at that time? Oh yeah, that was at
Yeah,
okay. Fair. Horrible, but fair. E.P. I get that from you. You say fair a lot. I swear to you, I get it from you. E.P. It's cringeworthy to see Bethenny go after Tinsley and call Carole out for fighting Tinsley's battle when she essentially is doing the same thing
True
from
that.
Sonja to Tinsley for no reason. I'm telling you, the people that watch the show, they give us.
God, snaps to that.
This is
That
E.P.
So true. E.P.
Sometimes we forget the
what up?
perspectives.
Yes, we're shouting you guys out. Hope you're watching.
Real quick, we've got Laura McKay. She wanted us to say, hey, girl, hey. So let's say, hey, girl, hey.
Hey, girl, hey.
Helvita. Also, we've got Miss Leo 814 regarding Bethenny and Carole. Reminded us. That Carole did say that communication is a two-way street, so thinks Carole is also at fault in some of this as well. Vibrant 999 said,
Exactly.
"Love the intro song last week. Odyssey, Native New Yorker. Thank you. That makes Ronnie feel good because I'm old school to the T, and that song came out in 1977, baby." Also, shout out to our regulars: Cindy Williams, Brandon Partridge, Tasha Tash, Olga Nora 07G067, Nikisha Brown, and our Twitter sphere is Cam_Hikiam. I am Alex Rogers, Miss Nikki Starr for Ginger Snap, Ashley Miller, Hermit TV Junkie, Rebecca Azor, and Jill Informed. You guys got to get better names, but I love you.
All right,
Either way.
guys, that is our show. Thank you so much for watching. We'll be back next Thursday at 10 p.m. We love to have you guys on the chat. Keep giving us those opinions. Give us a thumbs up. Follow us on Twitter. Follow us on my Instagram. I'm your host, Lian Castillo. Follow me on all social media platforms at Hollywood Lian.
Hey, randomly RJ is the social media. Don't follow me, Ronnie. Bye.
Hey guys, Chelsea Stark Jones. You can follow me on Instagram at C_S Jones and see everything that I'm doing at chelseastarkjones.com.
Thank you to Bree, our engineer. Thank you.
Murder Mystery Party. Next episode. Bye, guys.
Bye.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Like, I kept
Buzz
looking.
you later.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the host only, do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.